Hello, members of Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. Uh, Spiritual Encrypted Encounters on YouTube and on Facebook. This is take two because I lost connection with my first feed. So I'm just going to go with the flow of things, see if people join back on. Uh, well, what I was talking about was how I can understand how somebody can steal your identity, steal your story within any kind of group, because that's happened to me. I can understand how upsetting somebody could be, or like when somebody steals somebody's research, somebody steals somebody's picture, or right, or whatever, right? I know that feeling is not a good feeling, and that's what I was talking about on my first video. So this is take two. I don't know who's going to be here. Let me send a couple of more invites out again. Whoever would like to join. But I'm back right now. I'm going to go back to where I left off before my feed got broken. I'm thinking I'm having problems with my Wi-Fi, so I'm just going off with my cell phone right now. Yes, I was talking about how somebody can steal your story, try to steal. How people try to steal somebody's identity, or they falsify themselves. There's a lot of people that are fraudulent within society, or they can try to steal your like me. I don't mind what I share. Here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters, I share it so people can open up themselves to have a relationship with the Heavenly Father. So everything I share, when I talk about, always I'm attending a love foundation. If somebody wants to share that, I don't mind sharing that, for them to share that, because that's about good. The things that I share when I talk about forgiving people, I don't mind for people to share that with anybody. But yeah, what I was talking about, it was dealing with how I seen a person upset on Facebook yesterday, and they were really upset because somebody supposedly stole their story, or their research, and he was upset about that, and I could relate to that. Like in the first video I made, that I know that it just went off shut off. I was talking how somebody that stole my story of Indiana, and I had all the evidence because the person that was the individual's friend, before they came out on the show, I had shared my story about Indiana, right? What happened to me with this, and I shared the story in the first video that I made, and I got invited to go to a group where they were going to have a host. So they invited somebody, and I said, okay, I'll join. And that individual didn't say the story I said about Indiana, but they stole the name of Indiana, right? And I'm like, wait a moment. And before this was happening, they had already contacted me, like the guy's friend, through Messenger, and he had told me how they liked the story of Indiana and all this stuff. So then they're using my story, but they remade it, but still using the name Indiana. And I was sending the people, the admins that were from the group, that they had them on their show, how they stole, my story of Indiana, but the name, and I showed them the proof where they were saying that they liked my story and all this, and they still let them be on the show. And I could understand how somebody could be fraudulent, because it happened to me. When they steal your story and that they redo it to be theirs, and they redo it in their own kind of way, right? But they steal parts and pieces from your story. That's when you know somebody's being fraudulent. The only thing I'm going to say, the person that did that, his first name is Greg. I won't say his last name because I'm not about trying to call out anybody or anything like that. The only thing is about being honest, right? Being respectful, being honest about yourself. And I see a lot of that, not just within the crypto community, but there's a lot of that happens a lot, where somebody steals your idea, or not an idea, but sometimes ideas can be stolen, or whatever ideas, some people say some person stole their research, and it's true. There's a lot of fraudulent person. Now, I'll give you another example. I'm a spiritual person, and I always talk about always maintaining the Love Foundation. I think one time I remember somebody mentioning something about F all the people that believe in God, in the Heavenly Father, right? And this person is like, they didn't believe in anything like that, right? So, as I continue to do my work spiritually, and people are seeing the spiritual aspect of this in the cryptic community, and they're noticing that there's something unusual, that it's not something that's 100% flesh, that is something that can manifest out of thin air and disappear out of thin air, in which I'm showing them the spiritual aspect out of it, that we have the disembodied Nephilim, we have shapeshifters and skinwalkers, and I'm showing this perspective, right? Then all of a sudden, this person that said F God and the people that believe in God, all of a sudden this person becomes religious, right? And he's talking about when he goes out to research in the woods, that he prays. And it's like, wait a moment, last week you was talking about F God and F all the people that believe in God, and all of a sudden now you're saying that you made a change of heart within a week. I understand how that is. Or it was around 3 weeks when I was putting my research out there. Then all of a sudden they supposedly do all these things and to prepare themselves. But that idea of how I say I prepare myself spiritually when I go to certain areas, it had coming from me, right? And just so that you can't fake. Look, when it comes spiritually to facing this unseen forces, you can't fake spirituality. It reminds me of the story where the sorcerer was trying to get Paul, or one of the apostles, to bless him with the spiritual gifts of discernment, right? To have the abilities to heal, to have the abilities to bless somebody, in which he said, I'll give you any kind of money. I'll give you anything. Just give me those gifts. I don't want to believe in your God. I just want those gifts. And they told him there's no way you can that you can be blessed with those gifts or given those gifts if you don't believe, right? So what I'm trying to say, when somebody's being fraudulent like that, that they do these things after they denounce God a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before, and all of a sudden they're saying that they're spiritual and all this stuff, which there wasn't because of what came out of the mouth. You can fake to be something, but the unseen forces know what's in your heart. They know the truth. So, it's a win-win situation for me for being truthful to myself and being the person that I am. And it's not a win-win situation for you if you wind up in a situation facing an unseen force. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Because if you're lying about it, you can't denounce, you can't rebuke unseen force, a demonic being, but being fraudulent. Because the words that are going to come out of their mouth are going to be meaningless to them, and they're going to attack. They're going to attack you because they know what's in your heart. And that's why I'm making this video right now where, like I said, I see somebody, they were upset because somebody stole the supposedly research, and it was dealing with market territory about the alphas of the animals. But we all know this, we all have animals. We have dogs. I have pets. They've been doing that for a very long time, since the beginning of time. They mark the territory, not just them, but other animals mark the territories where their domain is. So other animals will go into the area, and that's what I did a long time ago. When I was in a situation when my tank was surrounded by all these wolves or coyotes out there in Fort Orange, California, back in 1991. And as soon as I did that, I went around the tank urinating. They left. They left my area, my territory alone. The only thing I'm saying is, I can understand where this guy was upset with it because of his research. If he's put in the hard work, and this other guy, if he did steal his research or the works or the things that he says, that's not right. But hey, that's how it is. There's going to be some people that are real, truthful, and you're going to have some people that are going to be fake. They're going to be hoaxers, and they're going to steal whatever they can steal around you. That's one of the reasons I left many groups, because I started seeing people was trying to take away from what I'm trying to do, and I said, what, I'm leaving this groups because I'm doing my own thing. I'm on a mission, and my mission was to lift up the veil, through pictures, through short reels, that the things that are out there are actually disembodied beings. There were Nephilim ones, disembodied beings, and that there's a spiritual war that's happening daily. As upset as the researcher was yesterday, that could be a spiritual opening. I could see why he would be upset if somebody stole his what he says, and he used that in a convention. I could see why he would be so upset, and he's calling this individual out. But at the same time, you have to be careful what openings you leave yourself to, and that could be, that's why I don't go to when I go do my works, I do it by myself. I don't mind somebody tagging along with me. The only thing is that I worry is if they're not spiritual ready to be out there, because what's out there, it'll manifest out of thin air. And if they have a spiritual opening, and I've had an open invitation to Elms Grove since I made for a long time, for anybody to come there. I remember Brother Armando, there was two people that came. I'm going to say their name, but Brother Armando was one of them. God rest his soul. And he witnessed it, what happened there in Elms Grove one evening when it was when I was going to make the Vic Conniff show. Before I made Dogman Encounters 53. The only thing I knew is that Vic Conniff was going to send a day shift guy to come investigate during the day, and he was going to send a night guy. Well, I seen the day guy, but I'm not going to mention his name. And his wife came, supposedly a psychic or medium of some sort, or clairvoyant. As soon as she stepped in the park, her energy got zapped. Her energy got drained, in which she got scared. She told her husband she can't be there. And he was like, well, I don't believe in that. And she said, I can't be here. We had only walked like 5-6 feet into the park area. We hadn't even gone to the area where all the activity was. And she was already getting attacked by this unseen force. And she had to go to the vehicle. He helped her to the vehicle because she got drained. Her energy got drained. And you could hear her yelling at him that she wanted to leave. Well, he wasn't all into that. He said, "Well, I don't believe in that." He's like, "I don't believe in that. I'm just here to do the research." So I took him, and I said, "Are you spiritual ready? You to go into this area?" He said, "I don't believe in that." And he kept on saying he don't believe in that. He don't believe in the spiritual aspect of this. He wanted to go look for footprints, and that's what he was looking for, tracks or whatever, in which that's fine, Entered the area, and he was there for a while. And then when we were walking back to the park, I took him to different areas. His wife was yelling, "Let's get out of here. I can't be here. The sun was already going to set," And that's really when the activity picks up there in Elms Grove. That's what people don't understand. I have an open invitation. If you want to really see something or experience it, nighttime is the time when the activity really picks up there in Elms Grove. I mean, I haven't had nobody from the cryptid community contact me to come do a research there at nighttime. I've taken a couple of people during the day, but there were people that watched the show that wanted to go check out the area, and they experienced something there during the day. But activity picks up even big time during the night. And I've had that open invitation to all the cryptid people, spiritual people, whoever, so they could go witness it for themselves, the things that happened there in Elms Grove, But anyways, back to my story. That was a nighttime guy. He took off. I didn't hear from him, but I only knew because of what they kind of told me. So there was one morning, it was a Sunday morning. I heard a knock on my door. And I was asked a question by an individual that I didn't even know. He asked me, "How can you be in two places at one time? How can you be in two places at one time?" That's what he asked me. Like I said, God rest his soul. Brother Armando's. His name was Brother Armando Salazar. I didn't know his name at the time because the only thing I knew there was going to be a daytime guy come investigate and a nighttime guy. So, guess what it told me. So the other individual that starts with a J and ends with an H, his last name starts with a T. He said he's not going to like what I have to tell Mr. Vic Conduff. He's going to be upset at what I have to tell Mr. Vic Conduff because he wants everybody to believe that these beings are just flesh beings. And when I tell him what I've seen and what I witnessed, it's going to take that perspective out of the picture, right? In which what he witnessed was this. He said that he parked in the area where the day guy told him where to go park by the creek, right? So he had parked there. He said he wasn't even there 10 minutes. And he said he seen someone that looked like me standing in the creek with black, calling him by his name, by his first name, right? Calling him to come to the creek, in which we had never met before, right? So he freaked out. The reason he freaked out is because he had barely left Elms Grove Mobile Home Park, and he had seen me inside my house, right? So he turned on his car. He went back real fast, and he was looking at my house, and he said he see me inside my house. So he was really scared of what he encountered out there. That's why he asked me the question, how can he be in two places at once? So my story of Elms Grove is 100% real. If, like I said, God rest his soul, if Brother Armando will be alive right now, that I'm more than sure he will speak the truth. And he was a veteran also. He was in the military, and he was a good guy. When he told me the truth, and he told me that he was going to tell Mr. Vic Conduff what he witnessed and experienced. That's why if you listen to Dogman's Encounters episode 53, you hear what I said that I believe they're demonic beings. They left that in there because he shared what he experienced to Vic Condov. And that's how my story got out there in that nature. And then, many people that I was blessed to be able to make the show for This Was So Haunted, Season 3, Episode 2. Or if you look at it, Terror in the Woods, that's where it's at, Season 3, Episode 2. I was able to share my story. But it was a real story. The difference was you had somebody who doesn't believe in the spiritual on one side, right? That they want to believe it's a flesh being. Then you had somebody, and this person that didn't want to believe the spiritual aspect out of it. His wife got spiritually attacked, and he still didn't want to believe the spiritual aspect out of it. And on this side, you had somebody that was ex-military, has no reason to lie, that he experienced something. So you had the wife that got zapped, her energy got drained, and the military guy, they experienced something at nighttime there. Two people that experienced something that happened to them to verify that Elms Grove is 100% real and that there is something in that area, right? Now, whether JT was honest or not, I'm thinking he wasn't honest because I believe after that story, he had a fallout with Brother Armando. They had a fallout and then went separate ways because they were working together as a team. Then a little bit after that, he had a fallout with Vic Condov, right? JT had a fallout with Vic Condov. But my story is 100% real. So now let's talk about attachments. I know one of them is not here. Brother Armando's not here. I know the person that got stabbed was having a lot of health issues. And I know that the person, JT, was having a lot of, how should I say, at one point in time, I don't know if he still does it not because I haven't viewed him. I don't know nothing about him because I went my separate ways. He was having a lot of disputes with a lot of people and even targeted me, trying to make fun of I was my Tenant Law Foundation. He targeted me when I was sick with COVID and my son was sick with COVID. So I separated myself from that guy, But the question is, if one person is not here anymore, his wife was very sick. I don't know if she's still sick or not. Does he have a negative attachment on him because he wasn't spiritual ready to go into that area? And if he didn't believe in a higher power at that time, was there an opening that he might possibly have a demonic attachment on him right now as I speak? That's the bigger question. And I'm just putting it out there. I wouldn't mind talking to this fella, one day to speak about this, But Brother Armando's not here no more. But I'm here, and I remember what was told to me. When he went knocking on my door, I can vouch for. I have my sister to vouch for that because she's the one that answered the door, and she said that there's a man out here looking for you. She can vouch for that. My sister was on the show when This Was So Haunted. She heard what he said, But besides that, all the drama and the chaos that happens in the cryptid community and other groups, it's crazy, brothers and sisters. We got to protect ourselves at a daily basis. They said people can try to steal your identity. People can try to steal your views. People can try to steal your stories. They can try to steal your pictures, try to claim it's own. That's happened to me numerous times where people trying to tell me that's your picture. I said, that's not your picture. I can show you the location. I can take you to location where I took this picture. That's one thing about me. Where I take all my photos, I know exactly where I'm at, and I can take a person to the location where I took the picture, right to the same location where I took the picture initially. Or if it's a screenshot, I can take you to the location. No, I'm prior military. I know my area, my territory. But there's another thing I want to talk about besides what I just shared with y'all. Is to go back to the urination part, where they talk about dominance. You also gotta, I believe, that you also gotta, besides just urinating, you gotta be prepared also and said, if you're out there camping, set in alpha, which means where you're camping, where you set up, and you got to set up perimeters. I used to be a tanker, and we had perimeters where we had 4 tanks, and we had certain perimeters we had to cover during the day and during the night, especially when you're in a combat environment, right? You have to scan these perimeters. You have to have somebody on watch, right? Somebody awake. And you take turns sleeping, but you cover the perimeters to make sure nothing's trying to infiltrate into your camp. Let's talk about this. Where you have to have these perimeters, like our tanks were set up a certain way where we're covering a lot of mileage, but we're setting 3 perimeters, and then everybody's got a certain perimeter we're covering. We're scanning. We got our thermals on, and we're looking to see if we can see any kind of movement. If anything comes in through our thermals, and you have to set up these perimeters. Can there be gaps within the perimeter? Yes, possible could be a gap. For example, if somebody falls asleep, this on guard watching the perimeter, there could be a space and opening where something could come through. But it's very important to set up the perimeters to be able to know what comes into your space, into the alpha. But there can be gaps where maybe somebody that's scanning has to go use a restroom, right? And they stop scanning, and something at that time that they stop scanning, something can come into your perimeter. That's another thing. This is for the crypto researchers. Said I'm prior military. They should do this all the time, all this training. Or set up little traps, like you can set up some wires with little bells. So if something comes in there and runs into that wire with the little bells, is it letting you know something's coming into your alpha, And the other thing about the dogman, man, they're so huge and they have the sense of to be able to see things that we cannot see. They can climb trees, be looking at us from on top of the tree while we're in our perimeter. I was just trying to bring that out instead about the urination, about the perimeters, for those that go out there to set up your perimeters to make sure you cover the space in the area. And if you're out there, make sure you have, and especially at nighttime, have some night vision goggles. Me, I like to sense the energies that are around me. But night vision goggles will help also at nighttime, that you're able to see the thermal heat around you. That's what we had on the tanks. It was a thermal imagery. But the difference between a goggle to what a tank could do, we could see something that was way out there, 3,000 meters away. That's a lot of football fields. From a distance, we can see a little mouse in the distance at 3,000 meters. You can see the heat, and we zoom into it with a laser, and we can see what it is. So the military technology is very advanced. If it's something that's 100% flesh being, right, you're able to see. Now let's talk about what if it's not 100% flesh being, and it's a spiritual being. All the things that I just talked about, setting up a perimeter, the bells, and all this stuff will be out of the equation. Because then if it's a disembodied being, they can sneak up right up on you that fast. They can manifest, appear in front of you, appear around you, behind you, and just like that in the blink of an eye, they can disappear also. So that's the difference between something that you're trying to hunt that's in the flesh to something that's spiritual. They can manifest out of thin air, appear and disappear. But yes, brothers and sisters, the things I always say is always maintain your love foundation. But mainly, it's not just about maintaining your love foundation. It's be real, be yourself. Be true to yourself. Be true. If you have a story to share, be true about your experience and your encounter. Don't be afraid to share your experience. But at the same time, for those that falsifies themselves and for those that are doing the hoaxes, that's taking, how should I say, out of the cryptid community, because that affects the cryptid community, right? When somebody dressed up as in a costume, and you could tell it's a costume by the way it's sagging, and you can tell it's a costume because they're not walking like an animal, they're walking like a man. You could tell the difference. So many fraudulent videos out there. Just like there's fraudulent videos, there's a lot of fraudulent pictures where even guys dress up in makeup and they pretend to be Bigfoot. They pretend to be Bigfoot. Then you got the ones that have those pretend to be a dog man with the costumes, Halloween costumes on and stuff. There's a saying for those individuals: the lie lasts till the truth comes out. But you can literally tell that it's that. So just be careful what you believe in. Don't get distracted from what you're trying to accomplish or from the work you're trying to accomplish. Like me right now, I'm going through something. I feel some pain on my leg. I posted a picture of my leg. It looks like a big bite on my leg. It happened overnight. Last night, I left to go to play this game like around 1:30, 2 in the morning. So I came home. I was awake and I went to sleep. So I got up. We went at 10 o'clock. And my wife wanted to go to the flea market. We went to the flea market, we were walking around, got off the vehicle, and as soon as we walked off a little bit, she said, "Hey, what's the matter with your leg?" And my leg was purple. It's like purple, it looks like a big mark, like a bite mark of some sort on my freaking leg, and it's pretty huge. So I posted a picture of it. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post a picture here in Spiritual or Cryptid Encounters. The only thing I gotta say to y'all, brothers and sisters, is you gotta be ready at all times spiritually to whatever is to come to you. If if your dreams are being infiltrated by the negative energies, or a thought comes into your mind of something negative, rebuke it in Jesus' name automatically, and you'll put a stop to that. You take authority over them in Jesus' name. You tie Banaruk in Jesus' name. And put a stop to them, and that's how they try to get in, through those kind of openings. Or on the video, I was talking about how the brother was mad because somebody stole his research. That's an opening. And I understand you're mad, they're stealing your research, but you got to protect your spiritual foundation, brother. You can't let, and that's what it's about. How's that saying go? There's a dog-eat-dog world. And there's always somebody trying to come after you in some kind of way, shape, or form or another. But you got to maintain your love foundation. When I was in combat, I maintained my love foundation. I maintained my faith. I never lost my faith. I never lost my belief in God. Didn't matter who came up against me or came up Somebody came at me in a negative way. I didn't accept the negativity. I deflected the negativity. And there was times where I had to use this, but I still maintain my love foundation to overcome where was coming up against me, and that's how they work. It's not that it's individuals, brothers and sisters, is that if they have openings, those unseen forces can jump on those individuals to come up against you to try to see if they can find an opening into your love foundation. So that's all for tonight. I don't know if there's a way I can make the part one and the part two together. I'll see what I can do. But thank you all for tuning in. Be real, be 100% real, and don't let nobody get the best of you in any kind of way. Maintain the love foundation, love, light, and blessings on this Sunday night to you and your families. And peace out.